Gilbert. He never went down to Dundee. The first one I went to Dundee. There must be a list in here somewhere.
Yeah. So you've seen quite a few.
Treated by we'll see what I've got a green book anywhere of years.
Yes.
Then Philip Baker,
That's right.
then Ivan,
Yeah.
and then Kirkpatrick, and Peter Williams.
My goodness, there's been some colourful
Colourful people
people
around.
when you look at it.
That,
You've seen it's fair to say you've seen a lot of flavours.
yes, they've all fitted in reasonably well.
Yeah, in their own way.
In their own, well, yes, in their own way, but they fit in fairly well into St Michael's and without too much pressure.
And of course, there wasn't any room for women's duties early on.
Oh no women collected
That
in those
really
days.
that got me.
Hmm?
I was never happy about that when I was young and you know.
Well, I don't think I was terribly happy.
And I'm sure Wendy probably felt.
I don't know what she thought about it.
How old were you when you first arrived at St Michael's?
I was 20.
20?
Yeah.
That's 50 years ago.
I know. We're old folks together.
Yes. Yes.
So Wendy wasn't happy about
Oh, I
Well,
don't know.
I don't know.
But
She was brought up as a Methodist, and when I knew her, she was considering Rome. And there was a Roman priest who was active in the drama society, the Ashvale Players they were called. And I think probably if I hadn't turned up and pushed my beak in, she would probably have been received by him in those days. But she said she wasn't. Was she confirmed? Can't remember when she was confirmed exactly. It may have been. It was probably the year we were married. Probably before we were married, I think. And in fact, she wasn't. Her baptismal name was Gwendolyn,
Alright.
and which she didn't like. And Wendy was an unusual name in the 30s.
In those days.
And she took it out on. She took it out quite deliberately, and I always knew her as Wendy. The family were a little uncertain about it. Their uncles and aunts and things, particularly the one with the Kettering accent.
Yeah.
It was what the family came from Kettering, and on one occasion, long after we were married, we were going on holiday up at Nelson, and we drove up, and for some reason we stopped in Blenheim and went into the op shop.
Wendy liked op shops.
Yes, and I think in fact there was a need for one, because I think some trousers had got damaged or something. And anyway, she was getting them. And when she was finished, she was paying at the counter. And she put her money down. Change came back with a receipt. And the voice said, "There you are, my dear." And Wendy had a good ear for the accents. "Do you come from Kettering?"
Really?
And she did.
Oh, for goodness sake.
She wasn't actually an aunt of Wendy's, but she lived in the same street as Wendy's aunt.
For goodness sake.
Yes.
All that distance.
Anyway, that's a long time ago.
So you were settling into St Michael's?
I settled into St Michael's. I probably started serving fairly quickly. I just said, I'm available as a server if you need one. So that moved in quite quickly.
So how long have you been doing the sheets?
The trumpets?
Yeah.
12 or 14 years now.
Is that all? Seems longer.
Not much. Well, Imogen and Jeremy were doing it before that.
Right.
I'm not quite sure when we went over to that layout. Quite. But what happened, it was to link up with St. Michael's, is the first, we've been there about 3 months. There was an annual meeting came up. And as usual, in those days they were held in a little room. It's gone now, where roughly where the old school, not the old school stone building, where the new school buildings are. There was linked up when you got to it from the hall.
Oh, I remember.
It was called
Yes,
the supper room, I think.
Yes. It was really old, wasn't it?
It was a funny little room. Anyway,
was a
we met in that. Which was quite convenient, roughly the same size as the lounge.
Yeah.
And we were there, and I just went there just thought we'd find out what was going on. And we got to the election of vestry, and Father God looked at me and said, "Would you like to be on the vestry?" So I said yes, and somebody presumably then formally proposed me, and I've been on it ever since. Not quite ever since, because I did 1 year, I took a year off because I was going to be on study leave to the university, and I was away for a whole year. So I said, I don't think I better stand. But that year I wasn't, but every year since, other than that, since then I was on until last month. But and I took on, gradually started doing more and more things. I used to run the service almost completely at one time.
Teach them.
There was a little boy this morning. Who was that other little boy? Boy was an acolyte. It was the other acolyte.
I don't know.
One of the Gravestone boys was one.
Yes, yes.
Sean, was it Sean? I think.
Sure.
No,
Yeah.
I think it was Sean, and John was the was John the MC or the theatre, I think.
Theatre, yeah.
Yes.
He's doing well.
Oh, he's doing yes.
Are you going to still be doing theatre?
No, I've stopped being a theatre.
You have?
It's
hard.
except at Evensong.
Oh, okay.
I do use it because there's only one server at the normal Evensong. He does everything. And no, I found it a little bit much. I get back a little bit sore sometimes.
I can remember when you were young, you used to swing it around.
I know. I was
A
told
lot.
I mustn't.
Health and safety issues or something. So,
Just an arbitrary. Well, it was it was on safety ground, health and safety grounds. But it's actually no more dangerous than swinging it at the bottom.
I used to enjoy that.
you know that mathematically.
Yes.
I used to enjoy that.
And I would even when that was forbidden, we used to swing it right up to the end, so
I know, on the
it
corners.
would jink at the end, and a puff of smoke.
It's a wonderful church, John,
It's
isn't it?
well, I had been a theatre a little in England.
Had you?
I don't think the parish I was in did much, if anything. I think we may have had low mass service. I can't remember now. I did some occasionally at Cambridge, because every now and again there'd be most of the services in Cambridge were based on the colleges. I think I did some low mass serving or moderate for a church run by the Franciscans. They had a house in Cambridge, which was linked when they had the use of a parish church, which didn't seem to have regular rector or something. I don't know.
And did you love Ely Cathedral? Did you love Ely Cathedral?
I liked Ely Cathedral, but transport was all difficult in those days. There's no petrol, you see. And Ely was just a little. I love Ely Cathedral, but I have not been there as often as I would probably go now.
Stella and I went one Harvest Sunday and they had sheep in the church, which we thought was rather lovely.
It's got that beautiful atrium.
Yes, it's a beautiful church.
We had some friends, the Sharps, who lived in Sutton, which is not far from Ely.
Ah, yes.
Winston Sharp, he was brother of Angus, who was Minister of Police for a short while.
Ah, yes.
Way back, and Angus was a cathedral grammar boy and a conscientious objector in World War II, and he spent quite a bit of time coming and going between England.
No, Winston was.
Winston, I beg your pardon, his brother Winston, yes. And they lived in Sutton, so we were lucky to go and see them there, and they took us over to Ely, and it was a lovely service still, wasn't it?
Because we used to, when I was a youngster, we did, father did quite a lot of sightseeing trips on a Friday, Monday or Friday or something. I forget which day of the week it was now. You take a day off, go around, but because cars were a bit iffy and petrol was not all that cheap, it didn't go. Ely was at the outer ends of the very distance we went. Ely and Norwich. The rest of Suffolk, the part of Suffolk we knew was accessible. And Lavenham and Long Melford were big parishes.
Yes.
So that goes back to the days when Suffolk was a very prosperous.
Huge buildings.
Yes, they had sheep, wool, which oddly enough they didn't process themselves. They sold to Holland to process.
How can I say? Sent it out of the country. In all the changes in St Michael's in terms of the altar and
oh yes,
liturgy.
And I was involved. Father Galt, surprisingly enough, was quite keen on celebrating facing the people.
And that was unusual in those days.
It was quite unusual. It was coming in. It was coming in England, or was being talked about in England. Because I remember buying a pamphlet, which I've now mislaid, of course, on why you should do it, the history, and how you should do it, with the choreography. And Galt was quite keen, and I took him through the choreography in church, the ceremonial, and then we decided we put it to the parish, or he decided to put it to the parish. Sam Cumming objected strongly. Somebody coming?
No, I was just looking at that.
Sam Cumming objected very strongly, and it was decided that he and I would give a speech in favour of our point of view. Well, I gave one which was fairly factual and didn't make a great deal about why, or just sort of how it would happen. Sam came in with a fierce attack on the whole thing, and he finished out. All I can remember for his speech was his final remarks, which was something like, "Leave well alone." So we did nothing. And then Tim came, and he was keen on making a change. And the first step was no structural changes at all, or virtually none. And what we did was to provide. I don't know what we did with the screen quite. I think we must. We must have moved the choir pews. I unhitched them. We just pushed them back, so there was more room around there. We put an altar, and we got